Today, we are going to watch an amazing movie released in 2024 called The Wish of the Fairy Fish. It's a fantasy adventure film with a very unique story. While most of us enjoy fairy tales, this one is particularly interesting and captivating. Its visual effects are so mesmerizing that you'll feel like you've been transported to another world. So, let's dive into the story of a faraway fairy tale land. The story begins in the middle of a deep sea, where we see a beautiful kingdom. On the throne sits the king, holding a ring. Beside him, a spy named Bank asks, "Where has the fish I wanted to marry gone?" After much searching, no trace of the fish has been found. Hearing this, the king becomes furious and orders Bank to find the fish as soon as possible. Next, we are taken to a small island in Russia, where an old blacksmith's house stands. Inside, we meet a boy named Yuan, who was sleeping in his bed. Suddenly, a small dog wakes him up. Yuan is kind-hearted but not very bright. As he prepares to head outside, his blind father calls him over. His father says, "You're grown up now. It's time you learn the blacksmith trade." "I'm old and could pass away any time. What will you do then?" Yuan reassures him. "Don't worry, father. I'll learn everything soon." His father then asks him to catch some fish for dinner. Yuan happily sets off to catch fish, as it's one of his favorite activities. Taking a bucket and spear, he heads to a frozen river not far from their home. When he places his spear in the water, bubbles start forming violently around it. Yuan tries to run, but suddenly, a powerful current of water bursts out, knocking him over. Surprisingly, a fish lands in his bucket. Yuan says to himself, "Well, at least I got dinner without much effort today." Returning home, Yuan starts a fire to cook the fish. The fish suddenly speaks. "So, you gonna cook me like this?" Yuan can't believe his ears. "Did you just talk?" he asks. The fish replies, "Not only can I talk, but I can do much more. If you spare my life, I can grant you incredible powers. If you drop me back into the river, and I will grant you any 3 wishes." Hearing this, Yuan realizes that this might be a magical fish. He tells the fish, "Wait a moment. I will tell you my 3 wishes one by one." Saying this, Yuan lies down on the bed and starts saying casually, "Sometimes I wish I could just lie here and tour the entire city." As Yuan speaks, an amazing event occurs. Yuan sees his whole room starting to float in the air. A bit flustered, he asks the fish, "What's happening?" The fish replies, "Well, your first wish is being fulfilled." "Didn't you just say you wanted to tour the entire city while lying down?" Yuan says, "But I said that casually. It wasn't really a wish." However, the fish tells him, "It's too late to take it back now. You spoke your wish right after I told you to, so it counts as your first wish." At that moment, Yuan sees his bed turn into something like a car and head outside, touring him around the city. Since it was winter, his whole body was shivering from the cold wind. Suddenly, he blurts out, "It would be nice if there were no cold or ice here." As soon as Yuan says this, all the snow around starts disappearing. Greenery emerges, and within moments, summer arrives. All the ice melts away. Even the frozen river becomes crystal clear again, which was Yuan's favorite. Stopping by the river, Yuan enjoys himself. At this point, the fish reminds him, "You've used 2 of your wishes already. Now only 1 remains. And once your last wish is fulfilled, I'll leave." Without saying anything, Yuan takes the fish and moves forward, talking to it. He laments, "People were right about me being foolish. Look how I wasted 2 wishes for nothing. I could have asked for something big." The fish responds, "Everyone has different desires. Some are content with a small house, while others aren't happy even with a palace." As they continue talking and move ahead, suddenly a group of bandits appears. They demand, "Hand over whatever you have." Yuan replies, "I don't have any money. You can search me if you want." Finding nothing, the bandits snatch the magical fish and start leaving. But Yuan, seizing the opportunity, quickly grabs the fish back and tries to escape. The bandits chase him, but Yuan, in his hurry to save the fish, releases it back into the river. Enraged, the bandits hang him upside down from a tree and leave. A little later, a beautiful girl arrives at the scene. The girl unties the rope and brings Yuan down from the tree. Yuan then asks the girl for her identity. The girl tells him that she is the fish he had just released into the river. Seeing a scar on the girl's neck, Yuan realizes she is telling the truth. He then asks for her name, and she says her name is Yana. Seizing the opportunity, Yuan takes Yana's scarf and tells her that she still has 1 more of his wishes to fulfill before she can leave. Until then, he will keep her scarf. This time, however, Yuan decides not to wish for anything easily, as 2 of his previous wishes were wasted. He wants Yana to stay with him until his final wish is granted. Yana agrees, saying there is no problem, and asks what she should do next. Yuan tells her he doesn't want to wait long and shares his final wish. Since childhood, he has wished to marry the daughter of the Russian Tsar. Yana responds, "So this is your last wish?" Yuan corrects her, saying he doesn't want to marry the princess through magic, but will try everything to win her hand in marriage. Yana promises to help him as much as possible. Meanwhile, we see the Russian Tsar's kingdom, where Princess Nancy resides. A maid informs Nancy that an English ambassador is arriving at the palace today. Nancy is thrilled because she has always wanted to marry an Englishman. Hoping this meeting might arrange her marriage, she quickly dresses up and waits eagerly. However, the Tsar dislikes the English and does not want his daughter marrying one. When the ambassador arrives, he tries to win over the Tsar by presenting Nancy with a special umbrella from England. Though Nancy loves it, the Tsar remains unimpressed. He confronts the ambassador, accusing the English of being plunderers. The ambassador denies any ill intentions, claiming he merely came to check on the Tsar and brought a gift to change his perception. We also see Yana and Yuan arriving in the Tsar's kingdom. Meanwhile, the ambassador shows the Tsar a machine, claiming it is an advanced device from England that plays music automatically. In reality, the ambassador has hidden a person inside who performs the music when a button is pressed. Amazed by the trick, the Tsar and everyone else are astounded, unaware of the deception. At that moment, they were watching the ambassador's actions from the other side of the wall. The king was amazed by the machine but still wasn't impressed with the ambassador. Instead, he got angry and told the ambassador, "What are you trying to prove with these strange machines? We don't need them. You can leave now." However, Princess Nin was very impressed by the ambassador and wanted to marry him. Her behavior showed how much she liked him. She even held his hand and kissed him. Seeing this made the king angrier, but out of respect, he didn't say anything. Just then, Yuan ran in, moved the ambassador's machine, and said to the king, "It's better not to marry the princess to the English because our languages and cultures are completely different. Problems could arise after marriage. It's better to marry within our own people, English to English, or Russian to Russian. If Princess Nancy wants to marry just for the machine, I will bring her a similar one." Hearing this, the king was pleased because he didn't like the English anyway. He had been looking for an excuse to stop the marriage. So he agreed to Yuan's proposal but doubted anyone else could bring such a machine. Still, he gave Yuan a chance. If he could bring the machine, he could have whatever he wanted. Yuan then confessed that if he succeeded, he wanted to marry Princess Nancy. The king laughed, saying, "I know you can't do it, but if you do, you'll get what you want." Hearing this, Princess Nancy was shocked. She couldn't believe her father would consider such a match when she wanted to marry the ambassador. The king ordered new clothes and shoes for Yuan, who was poor and dressed poorly. Yuan then went to Yana for help, asking for a musical instrument that played music automatically. Yana warned him it was in a dangerous jungle guarded by a mysterious cat. Many who tried to retrieve it never returned alive. If happy songs played, people danced until they collapsed. If sad songs played, they cried themselves to sleep. Either way, the cat ate them. Despite the risks, Yuan decided to go, believing Yana's support would help him succeed. Fully prepared, they began their journey through treacherous paths until dusk fell. Finally, they reached the jungle where the instrument lay deep inside. At the entrance, Yana said she couldn't go further and wished Yuan luck. Yuan entered alone and soon saw skeletons scattered around. He grew nervous but heard the cat's voice. The cat mocked him, warning that no one had survived taking the instrument. Yuan boldly asked for it, agreeing to the cat's condition. If the song didn't affect him, he could take it. The cat played a sad, emotional song, but Yuan remained unaffected. The cat asked how Yuan resisted its magic. Yuan explained his late mother used to sing it to him, so he was accustomed to it. Having lost the bet, the cat reluctantly handed over the instrument. Yuan was told, "If you take my musical instrument, no one will come here anymore, and I will starve because I have no food." Hearing this, Yuan felt pity for the cat, so he took out some food from his bag and fed the cat, which made the cat very happy. The cat realized that Yuan was a kind person and said, "You can take the instrument, but will you be my friend? Without it, I won't have anything to eat, so please take me with you. I'll help you in times of trouble." Meanwhile, Yana was waiting for Yuan by the river. Suddenly, a spy frog appeared, sent by the Underwater Kingdom's king to take Yana away because she was supposed to marry him. But Yana refused angrily, saying she would never marry someone she didn't love. Soon, Yuan arrived with the cat and the instrument. He had overheard everything. Yana asked if he had brought the instrument, And Yuan replied, "Not just the instrument, but also its owner, who is now my friend." Yana was delighted. Together, they headed toward the palace. On the way, Yuan told Yana he knew about her refusal to marry the Fish King. Yana explained she only wanted to marry someone she truly loved. At the palace, an Italian ambassador, actually English in disguise, was trying to impress Princess Nancy's father, the king. Before the ambassador could succeed, Yuan asked the cat to play a joyful song. The magical music made everyone dance uncontrollably. When Yuan stopped the music, the king praised him and invited Yuan and the cat to stay in the palace. Yuan then asked if he could marry Nancy since he fulfilled her challenge. The king agreed, but Nancy, unwilling to marry Yuan, cleverly set another test. Prove your love by bringing something extraordinary, an automatic food-making mat. Later, Nancy secretly sought advice from her late mother's spirit on how to get rid of Yuan. Her mother suggested using a machine that cut vegetables automatically as inspiration for the impossible task. Yuan accepted the challenge and left with Yana to find the magical mat. On their journey, Yana revealed the mat belonged to two brothers, Ron and John, living deep in the jungle. They used it to create endless food, growing extremely fat over time. When Yuan approached them, the brothers attacked him with a coconut, knocking him unconscious. Yana intervened and tricked the brothers into looking at their reflection in water. The two brothers were shocked to see their reflections in the water. They couldn't believe they had turned into monstrous figures. Yana then warned them that if they continued living this way, they would soon die from overindulgence. She added that with such bodies, they wouldn't be able to marry anyone. Hearing this, the brothers grew anxious and asked Yana how they could return to their former selves. Yana explained that their condition was due to the magic mat that made them lazy, leading to overeating. She advised them to get rid of it. The brothers agreed and told Yana to take the mat away as it was bringing them harm. Later, when Yuna regained consciousness, Yana and Yuna set off again toward the palace. Along the way, they entered a beautiful garden. Yuna picked flowers to propose to the princess, but Yana reminded him that Princess Nancy didn't love him and only gave him difficult tasks to keep him away. However, Yuna dismissed her concerns, believing the princess was testing his love. Meanwhile, Princess Nancy and the royal messenger were enjoying themselves, thinking Yuna wouldn't return. But Yuna came back, distributing food to everyone in the kingdom, sparking celebrations. The king urged Nancy to marry Yuna, but she refused. Desperate, Nancy sought her mother's spirit for advice. Her mother suggested forcing Yuna on a deadly mission to the underworld, where no living person could return. Yuna accepted the challenge despite the dangers. He went to Yana, who warned him that entering the underworld meant certain death. Yuna insisted she stay safe and only guide him. Yana reluctantly explained he would need to cross a dark, perilous river shrouded in black smoke. After crossing, he would find a door leading to the underworld. Before leaving, Yuna visited his blind father, who longed to see his son one last time. Touched by his father's words, Yuna used his third wish to restore his father's sight. With gratitude, Yuna released Yana from her duties, returning her magical scarf. However, Yana refused to leave, stating their bond had grown beyond mere wishes. They were inseparable like needle and thread. Together, they crossed the river and entered the underworld. There, they encountered Crystal, the guardian of the underworld, who was also Yana's father. He revealed he had sent Yana to Earth in fish form to help her gain life experiences. Yana explained they were there to find the Queen of Russia. Moved by their determination, Crystal allowed them to proceed. Yana tells her father she's searching for the queen who died years ago. Her father reveals she was selfish and cruel, seeking to claim the king's property and tormenting people. As punishment, her soul now endures eternal starvation. Crystal summoned the queen's spirit. Yuan then asked her for permission to marry her daughter, but the queen, being arrogant, refused. Yan advised Yuan to ask her father for help. Yan's father brought delicious food and told the queen, "You've been starving for eternity. Surely you need to eat. If you agree to Yuan's proposal, I will give you this food." Tempted by the food, the queen agreed. Meanwhile, in the palace dining hall, everyone was eating when suddenly the wicked queen's spirit appeared. She announced her consent to the marriage and said she wanted to give her daughter Nancy to Yuan. Hearing this, Nancy couldn't believe that Yuan had completed such a difficult task. On the other hand, Yan thanked her father and bid him farewell before boarding a boat with Yuan to cross the dark river. In the middle of the river, Yan told Yuan, "Your tasks are complete. Once you return, you'll marry Nancy. But there's one thing won't remain in your memory. After I leave, you'll forget me forever, though I'll always remember you." Yuan replied, "I'll never forget what you've done for me, and I'll remember you my whole life." Meanwhile, Nenzi, furious with her mother, destroyed the sofa in their old room. Her mother's spirit appeared and explained, "I know you're angry, but I starved for years and couldn't resist the food. However, I know another way to stop this wedding. Yuan has been completing all these tasks with the help of a magical fish, which is forbidden in our kingdom. You know what to do." On the other side, Yuan and Yan crossed the river as dawn broke. Exhausted, Yuan fell asleep. When he woke up, he didn't recognize Yan and asked who she was. Yan said she was just a fly who helped him cross the river. After thanking her, Yuan returned to the palace, feeling like he'd forgotten someone important. He went to Nenzi and confessed, "Though I completed your tasks, I don't think I love you anymore. Maybe I love someone else, but I don't know who." Nenzi, suspicious, asked if he had completed the tasks alone. Yuan admitted he had help from magic. Realizing this, Nenzi ordered Yuan's execution, as magic was strictly forbidden in their kingdom. Despite King Jar's reluctance, he couldn't override the law. Just as the execution was about to happen, Yan appeared and offered Nenzi 3 wishes in exchange for Yuan's life. For her first wish, Nenzi wanted to become queen. With her newfound arrogance, she imprisoned her own father. For her second wish, she demanded that England's king propose to her. Soon, England's army general arrived with a marriage proposal from their king. But when Nenzi saw the ambassador, she rejected him, saying, "Why would I marry you when I can marry the king himself?" She then imprisoned the ambassador too. Meanwhile, Yuan kept visiting places where he had been with Yan, but couldn't remember her. One night, while meeting his father, John and Ron appeared, fully recovered. His father asked why Yuan hadn't brought Yan this time. Suddenly, Yuan noticed a needle and thread in Ron's hand, triggering memories of Yan. Everything came rushing back, including Yan's words about the needle and thread. Realizing his love for her, Yuan rushed to save her, accompanied by his father, Ron, and John. They drove a powerful car straight into the palace. Yuan found Yan and begged for forgiveness, confessing his love. He then confronted Nenzi, demanding she release Yan. Nenzi, consumed by greed, made her third wish to become a magical fish like Yan. Yan immediately turned her into a fish. However, Nenzi couldn't use magic or return to human form because only those born with such powers could wield them. At that moment, water began flowing from a nearby well, and an old king emerged, searching for Yan. Mistaking Nenzi for the magical fish, he forcibly married her and made her his queen. With Nenzi gone, the kingdom celebrated. King Jar was freed and restored to the throne. Yan and Yuan confessed their love for each other, bid farewell to everyone, and left to start a new life together. And so, this beautiful story comes to an end.